Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Another exciting show and another exciting guest. Today, we're going to go into one woman's mission. Let's call it what it is, a mission to protect her kids.
Yes.
Imagine with me, imagine marrying somebody. When you say marriage, that's a big commitment. But how well do you know this person? I know we hear stories like this where you go, oh my God, I didn't know. But this is a oh my God moment right here. Imagine being married to someone and then finding out after 13 years that they was a molester. Imagine trying to escape that. Imagine trying to protect your children. Imagine trying to protect your life. Today on the show, we have a young lady all the way from California who is going to share with us that road on what it was like to step out of that shadow to rebuild, and not only rebuild, but to protect her children at the same time. Let's welcome to the show all the way from California, Miss Jessica Anderson. Jessica, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. And accountant,
Yes.
man, not only brains and beauty all rolled into one, and a protector all rolled
Yes.
up into one. Before we get started, Jessica, tell the viewers a little bit about who you are before we go down this road of let's call it what it is, somebody wearing the mask.
I'm a mother of four. My children are ages 10 to 21. Um, I have three children with this gentleman that I escaped from after years of being, I guess, manipulated and controlled by him.
Mhm. When you
And
say, how did you meet him? How did you meet him? Did you guys meet? Did you know each other for a long period of time? How did you? How did he even come on your radar?
I was a mother of a 2-year-old, and he just happened to be the neighborhood person walking by my house, and you know how teenage love goes.
When you
And
say teenage love, how old were you?
I was just freshly 18, and he was 7 years older than me, so he was 25 at the time.
You were 17 and dating somebody who was 25 years old?
Yes, sir.
What did your mom and dad say about that? I wouldn't have let my daughter date a person that's 25 years old at 17 years old. She's still, no disrespect, she's still a baby herself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So my oldest daughter's dad is actually um about 30 years older than me. So that was when I was 15. My
Wait,
story, yes, I'm
and
everywhere.
you was dating a guy 30 years old and you was 15?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go back a little bit here. Okay, let's go back a little bit. This is unscripted too. Did you grow
Yes.
up in a household with both mom and dad?
No,
So who was the role models in your household?
myself.
What do you
My
mean?
dad my dad walked away when I was 12 when my mom told him I was no longer a virgin and I was drinking alcohol and smoking pot. Him being Indian, he walked away from me. I haven't seen him since. And then my mom allowing that stuff to happen, you can imagine what kind of mom I had. So,
Your nationality? Did you say Native American?
Indian from India.
Oh, from India.
Yes, sir.
Okay, wow. This is interesting. So, how did a 30-year-old man
He
come
was
into
my
your
neighbor.
life? Pardon me?
He was my neighbor.
So he was a pedophile pretty much at 15,
Hmm.
and your mom and dad had no idea.
No idea.
How did that encounter even come about? Because this is crazy. This is a 30-year-old man, and you're still a child.
Yes. Um, I was well developed, very well developed. You could say I didn't look like a 15-year-old. I looked 20, 25 years old easily. I mean, I mean, It was both. It was a manipulation game on me, and I wound up pregnant. I mean, I used the guy for drugs, alcohol, you name it. I was getting it from him, and it was it was just a it was a game to me at that age, I guess.
But you said, okay, let me get this right. You're naturally your whole family's from India.
My dad is. My mom's white.
What was your dad's reaction to this? How did you
He
keep it from how did you keep it from your family?
I haven't spoken to my dad since I was 12.
Okay, so so you didn't speak to your dad at all. So
Mm-mm.
it was just you and your mom living in the house.
Yes, and my
Did your
mom
mom
didn't care.
did your mom have issues?
She, I guess, her computer was more interesting, and her cigarettes and whatever else she was doing, she didn't really care.
Did you have other brothers and sisters?
I had two brothers.
Okay. So nobody really stepped up to be a parent, both
No,
male, female, not even your brothers.
no. So
How
when I
did
got pregnant at 15, that's when I decided I needed to straighten out. I started going to school consistently. I straight got turned around. I got on the dean's list. I graduated high school with straight A's, with a 2-year old, and then I went straight to college. And I have 3 associate science degrees now.
Congratulations. Let's go back a little bit. I'm proud of you for that. Let's go back because
Yes.
I need to take the viewers into the mind of a 15-year-old
Mhm.
who didn't have any structure,
No.
who decided to take on the world. How come law enforcement or somebody wasn't involved? Somebody had to see you starting to develop being pregnant at 15
Um,
years old.
I didn't tell anybody who the father was because by the time I started showing or anything, he had moved and he had long gone.
Wow. Did he knew you was pregnant?
Yeah, he knew I was pregnant.
So you think that he might have left because he knew that if somebody found out he was going to go to jail for child
Oh,
molestation?
he actually was in jail. That's where he went,
Did he
but
go to jail?
for different reasons.
Did he ever find out that he was the father of your child? Well,
Yes.
he knew, but how did you bring it to his attention? How long ago did that
I was
happen?
actually his daughter's babysitter. I babysat his daughter a lot. So I knew his mom, I knew his dad. I frequently went over there. So when I did have my child, I did let them see their grandchild as well.
How was their reaction? A 30-year-old man with a 15-year-old young lady.
I never got their reaction. They never said anything to me on that level.
Did they look at you differently or treat you differently?
Nope, they didn't do anything. They said you're a mother, do what you do, and they never even forced me to let him see her. They never asked me to bring her over there. They never. It was everything was on my own will. They let me. They let me do whatever. I mean, what could they do? It was my daughter.
What was his reaction when he did find out? Did he step up to the plate? Did
No,
he did he acknowledge that it's his child?
he acknowledged it, but by the time he got out, I had already married my ex-husband by then, and my ex-husband wasn't allowing my daughter's father see his daughter.
Now you mentioned this is the guy that we're getting ready to get into, the 13-year deception.
Yes, yes.
How was this guy when you met him? How old were you?
I was freshly 18, 17, 18.
Mhm.
Um, he was a norteño.
He was what now? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
He's a norteño. He's a gang member. One of the lovely finest gangs here in California. Um,
And it's called a what? Nathaniel?
norteño, yeah.
I never heard of that. What
He
is
wears
that?
red. He wears red. That helps you any.
Oh, okay, okay. Wow, this is
So
interesting.
I've
Wow.
I've had a so yeah, he played the part of that guy's a child molester. You were young at that age. He should have known better. Kind of like what you And so then he tried to step up pretty much to be my dad role, but husband role, but in all reality, he was trying to get into my oldest daughter's pants.
Now, how old was your oldest daughter? This is the one you had from the 30-year-old
Yes,
man. I'm taking the girls, what, about seven
she
or
was
8 years
she
old?
was 2 years old when I met my husband at the time.
How long, when did you start noticing these behaviors?
I actually did not. It was brought to my attention through other family members. Children had brought up situations and incidences that happened, and then they told their parents, and their parents brought it to my attention.
Like, what are some of the things they brought to your attention? And the reason I'm
Um,
asking
so
questions is
my daughter from the older gentleman, she has DeGeorge syndrome. It's a disability with um understanding at a normal level of being. Like, she's like, right now she's 21. She has probably a 15, 16-year-old mentality. She's really behind. Her learning is really slowed. So he was able to take advantage of her without her saying anything. And honestly, I don't know how long it was going on for, because she didn't have that understanding. Even though we talked about it, it was just harder for her to articulate that and to understand exactly what was happening to her. So it took some of my nieces to say, "Hey, this is happening," to for it all to come out in light.
was he also doing this to other children?
There was 9 victims in the end.
Now you have three children
With him.
and one's not. So does that mean you have 4 children?
I
Am
have
I
4. Yes, yes.
okay? Now it's making sense. Okay, so 3 of the children, are they all girls?
No.
So
One of
he
them's a
was
girl. So I have 2 daughters, and then I have 2 sons. My oldest daughter's 21. She's with the first gentleman, and then I have the 3 younger ones. My daughter's 18, and then my son is 13, and my other son is 10.
so he perpetrated with with the daughters, basically.
With only my oldest daughter. He never touched his daughter.
Just your oldest daughter by the other man, but he didn't touch his
Yes,
own daughter. He didn't touch his own daughter.
correct. Correct.
Why do you think that is?
There's a couple of things. I guess I got to go back to when I was 5 years old, and my oldest brother tried to rape me. And so when I had this conversation with my husband at the time, um, when all came out to light, my ex-husband actually said, "I was just getting back at your brother for what he did to you."
By raping you or your daughter?
By going touching my nieces and going after them and touching my daughter. And he was just, he came up with some elaborate, but honestly, reality, it's the disease that he has. He tried to come up with excuses. I mean, I can't come up with any excuses for him.
When you found out that these things were going on, did you contact child
The police,
services?
the police, everybody. He went on the run for about a year.
And was eventually apprehended
Yes,
for the charges. Was he ever brought to trial for what he had did?
yes. He's actually
So
sitting in prison right now.
how was they able to collect information if the child has
From
what
all
we
of the
might call a
victims,
handicap?
from all of the victims.
All 9 victims, and you knew all the 9 victims.
I knew 4 of the 9, or 5 of the 9. Sorry.
Now, were they also handicapped or some type of
No,
learning behavioral problem?
no.
Was there a reason that they didn't that it took so long? What was the reason that with 9 victims that it took so long for them to come forward and say what was going on with this guy?
He actually was threatening the children.
And how old were the children at this roughly about
At
this time?
at that time, it was about 10 years ago, so they ranged from about 6 to 10.
Did they have parents, fathers, mothers, stable household, so to speak?
I don't know if you would say that any of my family had a stable household.
Did you have to go and testify?
I was still married to him at the time, unfortunately. And there was never, I wasn't a victim. There was nothing that I could testify because I didn't know anything.
But he was eventually brought to trial and convicted
Yep,
for,
he got 3 counts of lewd acts with a minor under 18 and a couple other charges. I forgot what
and
they are.
he's still in jail, in
He's
prison.
actually up. He's actually up for parole next year.
How much time did he wind up receiving?
Only 10 years.
Wow. How were you able to rebuild your life from all of this? More importantly, let's not even talk about that part. Let's talk about how did these children rebuild themselves? What steps did you
Um,
take as a mother to make sure that this didn't happen again? Because this was 13 years. It took you 13 years to realize what was going on in with him.
I don't know when it started, so I really can't tell how long it was taking place or the I can't say that. I honestly I don't know how long it was taking place, the frequency. I don't have any understanding of that because I don't even know when it was happening because he was a stay-at-home dad and I was a working mom.
Mm. How do you prepare your child for recovery now?
Um so I I was honest with them through and throughout. I let them choose their path if they wanted to go to because he didn't touch my other three. So with the three, my son he was only 6 months old at the time, so that one I really didn't have to do anything there. Um, Once all of the girls started talking to each other, once they were allowed to talk to each other, all the kids found out what was going on very fast. Um, I gave my kids an option to go to therapy or talk to me, and I'll tell them anything that they want. My oldest daughter, she chose therapy for a little while. She did not like it. She came right back out of it. Mind you, all my kids are very happy now. None of them actually did any real therapy other than talking to me one on one, asking me questions, me giving them answers. Just being open with my kids was the biggest thing.
Did you receive any ridicule from people? You got 9 victims here. I mean, did you guys ever sit down and talk? And if you did, what were some of the things that you saw? It's kind of like you saw what was going on, but you really wasn't sure. Like with that many people being involved, what did the parents, when you guys got together, what did you guys notice the similarities with each other?
Well, we didn't really sit down and talk because one of the parents pretty much just said, "I don't want nothing to do with you." I didn't know I didn't know three of the victims. One of the victims was my daughter, and then the other three were my nieces, which is my older brother's children, which is the brother that tried to rape me when I was 5. So we didn't really have a relationship either. I had a relationship with his wife at the time, and she was one we were really close, so we talked about it, and we were both astonished because in the back of all of this happening, my sister-in-law and my husband were having an affair.
Wait a minute. Let's back up again. And first of all, let me say thank you for coming on and sharing your story with the viewers on this platform on my show. And people need to realize this is a judge-free zone. I mean, this is your story. Nobody has the right to judge here. But let's go back a little bit more. So your brother was raping you at 5 years
He
old.
he tried, but I was a little feisty thing, and I remember him trying, but I didn't let it happen. And my mom didn't believe me at the time when it happened, so I became I became a ruthless sister, and he never even I just had to learn to fend for myself at a young age.
And what makes you think your mom was so detached to all this that was going on in the household?
She had four brothers and three sisters, and her dad was a child beater. He beat the shit out of his children. One did something wrong, they all got it, and so she refused to put any type of discipline on any of us or think that we needed any of it because she got too much of it. I don't. That's what I see.
Were there ever moments that you reached out to your dad, or he once he left, it was gone. He's done.
Yep. He talks to my little brother, but he refuses to talk to me
Why do you think that is?
because he's a boy.
So you and your dad never had a oh, when you lost your virginity, he just basically
Because he couldn't sell me to the highest Indian bidder for marriage at that point.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's hold that for another second. What do you mean he couldn't sell you to the highest bidder?
I was an Indian girl. I'm a I'm a white Indian girl.
So I'm educate me. I don't know the customs.
Did,
I hear about it, but this is the first that I've actually heard it. So what is that customary to because what you're not full blooded Indian because you're mixed that you now
well,
go
they
on to talk about
all the girls they don't if they sell them to they sell them to the family. That's what they do. They pretty much you have a daughter and you're breeding your daughter. You're making her to sell to the family, so you get a good dowry in return, pretty much.
but because you have been
I
having
was no
sex.
longer yeah I was no longer a virgin. He couldn't get he couldn't. I was un un unworthy of being given away at that point.
How does that how does that make you feel? I'm just curious. I know it sounds crazy, but I gotta ask. I mean, you come from a culture that they sell you for money
I
to the
mean,
highest builder
I guess they
bidder.
don't say it like that, but that's what they're doing. I mean, that's how I see it. Because if you're taking me out of my household and you're making me marry a man that I don't want to be with, and you're getting money in return, I mean,
So did you
it.
know the man that your father was supposed to make you marry?
No, I wouldn't have met him until the day of my marriage if I would have stayed with my dad.
That is that's crazy. So let's move forward.
Yes,
Now your sister, let me make sure I heard what you
my
said.
sister-in-law. Yes.
Married somebody that molested you or raped you?
So my older brother, he was with my sister-in-law, and at 5 years old, my older brother tried to assault me, and I didn't allow it to happen. He tried to. So at that point, I became a real tomboy and fended for myself. And then my sister-in-law, the one he married, and he has three children with, and the three children are girls, and the three children are victims of my ex-husband.
What do you mean when you say, oh, your ex-husband also molested them?
Yes,
And how old were these little girls?
they were in between 6 and 10, 12,
Now, how old are they roughly now?
18, 17, and 16, or 18, 19, 18, 20, and 21, something like that.
Now, did they have
I
to,
don't talk to them, so I don't really.
right. So did they have to testify against your
Yes,
ex?
they did. They were in a secure room, and all their testimonies were video recorded for the judge.
Did you suffer any penalty because when you're dealing with stuff like this, you're dealing with CPA, child services, and all kind of stuff. Did they ever blame you for
No,
any of it?
I had a great child care worker. He came out to my at the time actually I wound up living in a motel for about 6 months to a year. I was in a motel because I couldn't get a house totally on my income. So me and my kids were holed up in a hotel for almost a year. He was great. He came out and he did wellness checks, made sure the kids were doing great, made sure that they were happy. I mean, they were on my side
Were
because
you ever were you ever afraid that they might try to bring up, child endangerment or anything of that nature up with you?
no, I wasn't worried because I there was nothing on me. The only person that hated me at that point was my son because I took his dad away. But once he started hearing what his dad did, that boy turned real quick. And
How was you
there,
able How were you able
I,
to bring that to your son? Like, what was some of the change of events? Did he just come to you and just say, "Mom, I can't stand you. You took my dad away." Like, how did that
slamming
oh,
slamming doors in my face, telling me to fuck off. He was getting very verbal with me, telling me he didn't have to listen to me, didn't have to do anything I asked him to do. Um, you name it, he was lashing back, um, very very bad. But he was a daddy's boy. His dad took him to school. His dad picked him up from school. His dad did after school activities with him. So his world changed real quick. And it was hard for about 6 months. And one day I just had to sit down and I had to tell him exactly what his dad did. And after that, it was like night and day with that boy. He became my little attached at the hip mommy's boy, and he still is to this day. And he's actually like 2 feet taller than me. So
you, do I'm pretty sure that they don't ask to see him or anything whatsoever with him.
no.
Has he reached out to you because he's getting ready to get up for parole or
So
anything?
I've moved towns. I've gotten different vehicles. I've gotten a different job. I don't talk to any of my family anymore. I've pretty much secluded me and my kids and given them everything and anything that they deserve.
Do your family blame you?
Um, I wouldn't care if they did or not because I'm not the one to be blamed.
Let's move forward a little bit. How did you? I'm gonna recap a little bit. What did you put in place to help your daughter to get over this situation? What did you put in place for your son? I know you had to sit down and talk with them. How was their mental well being at this particular point in time?
Um, my daughter, who was his daughter, since her cousins opened up and told her everything, she was very easygoing. She didn't want therapy. I asked her over and over. She's like, no, there's no reason for me to have therapy. He's a piece of shit. She just went straight night and day with him. Um, so that one was easy. For my older daughter, with having the George syndrome and having the lack ability of remembering things or choosing to remember things, it was it's easier on her because she didn't have that memory of what was happening to her.
Mhm.
So when she would go to therapy, there was nothing for her to therapy on because she didn't have memory or recollection of those things happening.
What about you?
Me?
How are you? What are you putting in place to keep um, your life in order? Because let's get real. Family is important. I mean, we do have our ups and downs, but this isn't an ups and down right here. This is some serious shit, you
Yes.
know, and now you've have stepped away from sometimes family is that life support. You don't have that anymore. You just have your children. So how were you able to regather your life back together?
I just put one foot in front of the other and I watched my kids be happy. And that honestly is my my that is what makes me go every day. That's what makes me get up. That's what makes me do everything I do is seeing their smile. My daughter, she's 18. She's about to be going to nursing school. My youngest 10-year-old, he just started football. He's conditioning right now. That stuff makes me happy. That's what keeps me going. That's all the therapy I need, to seeing the smile on their faces and seeing them want to do things.
You're an accountant right now.
Yes,
You got several degrees and stuff.
yes.
Did this incident make national headlines in your where you live at in California? And if it did it how did the community view you?
No, it did not hit national headlines. I don't even remember seeing anything, not once, anywhere. People asked me pretty much how could I not know? I'm
That was actually my next question. How could you not know? But I get it because your daughter didn't have the had that illness that didn't allow her to really process
correct.
stuff
It
that
didn't
was going
allow
on.
her to speak up.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm pretty sure when you did find out, you did act like any other parent would. You went hell into the fire and said, "Hey, this something's got to happen here." I would assume. Am I right?
Yeah. So what actually happened is my sister-in-law called me over to her house and she asked me not to bring him, which was normal. On the weekends, I'd go over there and wash laundry. So I took the laundry and I took the kids over there and she just sat me down and she told me 1, 2, 3 what happened. I said, we'll call the cops. We called the cops and we showed up back to my house with the cops. And by then, my dumbass sister-in-law ran in and she started confronting him without the cops there and he took off.
Wow. How long did it take to apprehend him?
About a year and a half. He wound up getting into a bar fight, and at the bar fight, they wound up getting him. And he was actually in the same town as me the whole time while he was on the run.
Wow. Wow. That is
But by then, I had cameras all around my house. I went mom mode. I started putting cameras up everywhere. I had over 20 cameras in my house connected to my phone at any given time. You name it. I seen had cameras inside and outside in every angle. I I was that paranoid person.
w- w- are you afraid now because he's getting ready to get out?
No, I'm not.
Why is that?
I still have cameras up. My kids, I've taught them to be smart. We don't really use our real names anywhere, social medias, anything like that. We kind of keep off the grid. I've taught my kids like, hey, if you're gonna use, you guys can have social media. You can do whatever you want. Just do it smart. Don't use your name. Don't be telling people where you live. So I've kind of, and I don't talk to the same people I did back then. I'm not in the same city. I've moved over an hour away. My job is even an hour away from where I work, where I live. It's not even in the same city I was before. So he has to parole to that city, which is pretty big. And I doubt he'll find me an hour away.
That's really, I hate to say this, but that's really kind of like a pretty sad way to live. It's almost like you know you're the victim here. Your kids are the victim, and they have
Yeah,
to live a life of almost what's the word I want to use? Um,
isolation.
not even isolation. I'm trying to think of the next word I want to use. Witness protection. It's almost
Yeah,
yeah,
in a way.
like witness protection program here.
And my oldest daughter, she moved to Arizona, and she does have a restraining order on him. So I'm sure she's okay.
Wow, I wasn't prepared for this. Now that you look back at I-20, because this is probably what you hear from a lot of people, how could you not see something based on everything that you've went through with what went on into your house, with you getting ready to be sold off into the can I call it the sex trade or marriage trade or whatever you want to call it from
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the things maybe because I was always working.
Mhm.
I was making a living for my kids. That was one thing that I was always working. I was always in school. Um, I would come home and pull the books out and get to school. So it was 5 o'clock school time. go dinner time, go to bed, get up in the morning, go to work. I mean, I had a pretty strict routine. And then on the weekends, I mean, I would sit there and I would get drunk. And I'm assuming that's when he would do whatever he was doing.
Let me ask a question. It might go pretty deep here.
Yeah.
And thanks for sharing this because I had no idea. Wait a minute, let me take it back. I know of your culture too a little bit. I know that you get, is it called groupies or money when you get married? I know
Mhm.
that marriages are arranged in your
Yes.
culture, but I
Correct.
didn't know that. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's crazy because you have been, you got pregnant by a 30-year-old person that the only value you was to your father was money. How does
Mhm.
that make you feel as with that culture as a whole? Be-
Um,
in general.
I've it used to bug me, but now I've come to the realization that all of those people lost out on knowing a great person.
That's a beautiful, beautiful way of putting that. How do you go ahead, go ahead.
My kids, I mean, those kids will do anything and everything I ask. I have the greatest kids only because they're a reflection of me and how I am, and that tells me that those people that chose to be like that towards me, that's the kind of person they lost out on knowing.
What's your relationship like with your mom now? Has
I
that been
talk to
mended?
her. I talk to her maybe once a month, if that.
Really? What
I
was her
haven't seen her. I haven't seen her physically in probably 2 months, and it was only for about 3 minutes, and before that was almost a year.
has she even talked about how you're doing, how her grandkids are doing? Really?
She doesn't care.
Why do you keep that line of communication open? Is it just because she's your mom?
Yeah, just out of just knowing. I guess I don't know.
Does she have a relationship at all with with her grandkids?
I mean, she calls me like she called me and said, "Hey," she called me to tell me. So I guess I'm just an ear to her if it makes her feel better.
Does she
How I
believe
kind of
what
feel.
happened? Does she
No,
believe
she
what
does not.
happened?
She
That's why I was going.
with my brother, no. With my ex-husband, I don't know because she never talked to me about it.
Have you ever brought it up and said, "Look, you need to understand this is what took place."
Um, I don't see any reason for it because she wouldn't have a reaction, or and all she's gonna start doing is start talking shit or some stuff I don't want to hear, and she's gonna start talking about other people. It's just how she is.
What accountability? Let me rephrase this. Looking back, what would you have done differently? What would you have liked to see done differently in your life? And not saying your life is bad now, but to look back now, you have beautiful children, you have a great career, but to look back right now of all of these things, had you not been involved with a 30-year-old man at the age of 15, had you not been involved with the gang member who turned out to be a molester for 13 years, could this had all changed your life? Would your dad have still been in the picture, or would you been traded off into the sex trade for money? Who
I
knows?
would
But
have. I probably wound up with my dad, and I would have wound up being married off to an Indian guy, and for his, he would have gotten his rupees, and I would have been married with who knows how many kids and in India, probably.
wow.
Those are the two lines I see. Um, the biggest thing that I see is if I wouldn't have gotten pregnant is the path that I was heading down at that moment in time. I would have been deceased by now, or I would have been very highly on drugs. I would have I would have not been where I'm at right now. Definitely not. If I wouldn't have got pregnant at 15.
It's funny that you had to, let me use the phrase, you had to put a lot of lemons to get lemonade. And you definitely turned all this into a sweet thing of picture of lemonade with great families of your children right now, a great career for yourself. What should the viewers take away from this, from your life's journey so far? What should the viewers uh take away from your story?
I mean, just never give up. You can't give up because we all have a purpose. We're all here for one reason or another to do something, whether it's good or bad. Everything falls into place, and like I was meant to get pregnant, and I was meant to make sure that my children are as smart as they are today and doing the things that they are doing.
So you mentioned the word purpose. Everybody has a purpose. I completely agree with that. What do you think your purpose is outside of having those beautiful children and going through what you went through? What's your purpose now?
I like to make people smile. For instance, my Snapchat is good morning, have a lovely day. You guys stay in. I'm always positive affirmations in the morning on Snapchat with my pretty face smiling, just brightening people's day, making them smile. I always tell people, say hi to a stranger, smile to a stranger. You never know what they're going through. Just that little smile can change so much. Just spread that smile.
You know what? I am so glad that you took the opportunity to come and share such a beautiful story. I had no idea that it would have went this deep. And like I said before, this is a judge-free platform. I need people to understand we can sit here and try to walk in your shoes, but at the end of the day, all you have to do is listen to the story, show some compassion, and realize that we all going to have some type of trials and tribulations. Is how do you take those lemons and turn them into lemonade, just like you've done? Thank you so much for taking time out. How can the viewers follow you on social media to know more about your story and
um,
to listen to those beautiful affirmations that you give in the morning?
like I said, Snapchat is my biggest one. That's where I do my beautiful, lovely affirmations in the morning. Sometimes I post them on Instagram, but I pretty much stick to Snapchat a lot.
What's your Snap channel handle so people can listen to those affirmations?
Jess, Jess, sexy, Sexy lady, Lady.
You know what? Thank you so much for taking time out to come on the show. Definitely, our prayers are with you and your family moving forward. If you ever need our assistance on the I Am Beast Network, feel free to reach out to us. You definitely have a beautiful story. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another, and I do mean another, exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Crayton show.